Are you looking for a way to store your precious memories on a server that you control? Let's have a look at Immich, shall we? It's much like Google Photos, except for the Google part. Complete with apps for your smartphone and tablets, facial recognition and much more. Before going through some of Immich's features, I'll show you how to set it up on top of Docker, and we'll even quickly show you how to install Docker on a Linux machine. Let's start by building a machine for Immich. I'm going to use a container on Proxmox, but you don't need to. You'll need some system with Docker installed, that's about it. Whether that's a container, a virtual machine or your mom's old laptop, as long as you can install Docker on it, you'll be fine. So I'll create a container. Let's just call it Photos, as I already have one called Immich. I'll do Debian 13, but again, as long as you can run Docker, you're fine. 2 cores. Let's do 8 GB. It can do with way less, but things might get a bit slow if you don't provide it with enough resources. More on that later. DHCP is good enough for now. Let's go. Come on. Don't you just hate it when your mouse suddenly stops responding because your batteries are dead? Lucky for me, Linergy just sent me a bunch of batteries and a charger to show you guys. With a household full of battery-powered devices and kids' toys, we need to buy extra batteries quite often. And while things like this mouse are fine when used with regular rechargeable batteries, some things just don't like the 1.2 volt that these provide. But throwaway alkaline batteries are bad for the environment, not to mention bad for your wallet, as you have to buy them even more often. Linergy's batteries provide the same 1.5 volt an alkaline battery would, so you don't have to worry about your toy not moving fast enough. Also, their AA batteries have a capacity of a whopping 3600 mWh. That's quite a bit more than most alkaline batteries, let alone most other rechargeables. Oh, and that charger is pretty cool. As soon as all batteries are fully charged, they will drop into the basket below, providing a neat way of storing them as well. It'll also charge most other kinds of rechargeable batteries, by the way. I wouldn't try this nickel-zinc ones, but I doubt many people will have those. The charger will only take AA-sized batteries, but Linergy includes sleeves to fit AAA batteries in there as well. The e-paper display will show you how many batteries you charge with it and how much CO2 emissions you have reduced by simply recharging a battery instead of buying a new one. See the tree grow with every battery you charge. You can even press the button to show a QR code so you can show off all the good you're doing for the planet. It takes power over USB-C and needs a 5V 3A charger, so you cannot use it with the cheapest phone chargers out there, which kinda makes me wish they would include one, but I guess most people will have a charger that can handle that by now. Check out the link in the description and pinned comment if you'd like to check out Linergy's awesome products for yourself. Right, let's get some batteries in that mouse of mine so we can move on with the video. Alright, let's open the console. Let me update the container first. Alright, so now we need to install Docker. Just run curl to open get.docker.com and pipe it through bash. There we are, we now have Docker. Anything from this point forward you can do on any system that has Docker installed. First, I'll create a folder for Immich. That can be anywhere you want. Let's open the instructions from Immich's website. The Docker Compose instructions. Right, just copy and paste this line to download the Docker Compose.yml file. And this line for the .env file. You only have to alter the .env file at first. You can change the upload location to any path on your machine, which can be a network bound as well. I'll leave it for now. You can change the database location, which I just leave as the default as well. Change the time zone. I'm in the Europe-Amsterdam time zone. I'll leave the image version. Set a very secure password for the database. I don't really care for the database username and password, so that'll be it for now. Save the file and run docker compose up-d. Docker will now fetch the images for all the containers in the compose file, configure them as we have just defined, and start them all. There we are. It created 4 containers. One for Immich itself, one for the machine learning part, the database server, and a Redis instance. The server is exposed at port 2283. Let me check the IP address of the machine. Here it is, so let's open that address in the browser on port 2283. There's our new Immich server. Immich doesn't work with just a username, it needs to be an email address. It doesn't have to be a real address though, although you might want to use a real one if you want to be able to get notifications through email. Alright, sign up. And now we can log in using the email address and password we have just set. On first login, you can choose whether you'd like to use light or dark. Oh, my eyes! You can choose a language. It'll let you choose whether or not you want to use some external resources. Enable a storage template, which is advisable for sure. The default will distribute your images to folders based on date, which is fine by me. Backups is just a reminder you should back up your files. And the mobile phone button will just provide some links to download the app for your phone or tablet. We'll take a look at that later. So here we are. Our Immich server is ready to go. Our drive is already kind of full. You know what? Let's create an extra disk and change the upload location. Let's put it in opt image. This can be anything, at any mount point, your choice. Alright, there it is on our machine, completely empty at this point. Get into the image directory and edit a .env file. Change the upload location to the disk we have just added. And run docker compose up-d again to make it so. Oh, why is it restarting? Right, it can't find its files. Oops. Let's just move those over from the library folder to the new drive. Still won't start? Let's just restart the container by hand. Alright, there we are again. Note to self, copy all contents of your library folder if you change the location. Now we have a little short of 8 whole gigabytes to work with. Cool! Let's first walk through some settings. Click your profile thingy at the top right corner and choose Administration. By default, you'll enter the Users tab, where you can create users for your setup. Let's create an account for someone called Sharon. We can limit the amount of storage she can use, and we can even make her admin as well if we wish to do so. On the Jobs tab, we can see and manage background tasks for Immich, like generating thumbnails, facial recognition, and much more. At the Settings tab, we can manage most of Immich. In the authentication settings, we can enable OAuth and the simple password logging we're using right now. Immich does not support anything else by itself, so you'll need an OAuth provider for more secure login methods. This can be anything from a Google login to a self-hosted OAuth provider. At the job settings, you can configure the maximum amount of concurrent tasks a job may run at the same time, which you can raise or lower depending on the hardware you use. I found the defaults to be perfectly fine inside a container on a simple Intel M100 mini PC I'm using. Logging options? You know what, let's raise that to warning level, so we don't get loads of useless log messages. The machine learning settings are for the separate machine learning container. Smart search? Yeah, I have no idea what exactly happens if we change the clip model. Duplicate detection? I found this default to work very well on my own photos. I have imported both the original ones we took of our children and the smaller variants that were saved on a Google Photos album, and it seems to have done a great job at filtering out the smaller ones so I could choose to delete those. Facial recognition? No idea what model to choose, but the default seems to work reasonably well. The minimum recognized faces option is there to make sure you don't end up with loads of people you don't know. The default of 3 might be a bit low if you have loads of photos with strangers in the background though. I'll set it to 1 for this demonstration, because I'm going to upload some stock photos in a minute. To be honest, I haven't really used the OCR feature yet, but I guess it could be useful. In the nightly task settings, you can change the start time for the daily job and or disable some. You can set up a mail server for email notifications here. This is exactly why you have to use an email address as your login. The external domain setting is where you tell Immich at what address is publicly available, so that share links will be provided using that. That's all there is to it. I guess most other settings make enough sense, right? Hardware acceleration could be interesting to speed up some tasks. Even in the Proxmox container I'm using, I'm able to use the machine's GPU to speed up some tasks if I share that GPU with a container. You'll also need to configure that in the Docker file though. Right, let's get some photos in here. I've downloaded a bunch of images and videos from Pixabay. Let's upload all these women. Interesting. The date is in Dutch even though I chose English for this demonstration. Now if we go to jobs, we see that Immich is running some on the images we have just uploaded, which is quite a load on those 2 CPU cores the container may use, but memory usage is actually not even getting close to the 8 gigs I gave it. After everything is completed, we can click Explore and see the faces of people that were extracted from our photos. Just 4? Yeah, I can understand it couldn't extract a face from this one. If the photos would have GPS coordinates in the EXIF data, you could see them on the map right here. Let's upload the rest of what I got from Pixabay. I changed the file dates, hoping it would detect duplicates of the 5 photos that I had already uploaded. But it already detects that on upload, so it simply doesn't upload those. Damn it! I guess that'll have to wait then. Cool, of all of the images I got from Pixabay, only the lady with a banana seems to have a date included in the metadata, given that's the only one with a different date in here. As you can see, some images appear broken. That's nothing to worry about, it simply hasn't created thumbnails for them at this point, as that job hasn't finished yet. You see, fixed already. We've got some more faces now. This can't be right. Yeah, so this happens sometimes. You can just click the image, then click on the info icon and edit the people in it. If a face is removed from all photos in your library, it will disappear from Explore as well after the nightly jobs have ran. What's this? Alright, it actually is a face. I guess it's better in recognizing faces than I am. Let's create an album of all my girlfriends. Now share the album with Sharon to make her jealous. Sharon can now see this album and all items inside of it. She won't be able to see all of my pictures though. Stuff stays private unless you share it. To quickly find items in your collection, you can search for things over here. Let's find pics of dogs. Not sure why it shows all other pics as well, but as you can see, the first items it shows are in fact pictures with a dog in them. Boat? There's only one pic with a boat. Banana? Check. Animals? Cars? Right, let's create a new album with all of my thumbnails are made for this channel. These aren't on the server yet, so let's click Select from Computer to upload them directly into the album. Easy, right? Look, I can now search for images of computers, or keyboards, or laptops. Say I wanted to share my thumbnails with a friend without providing them an account on my server, I can simply click the Create Link button instead of another user. You can give it a custom URL, secure it with a password, or don't. You can even have it expire after some time. Ha, that's all in Dutch again, but you get the point, right? You can choose whether or not a visitor can download or even upload items using this link. Now anyone could basically use this link and open my album. Obviously, I should have configured that external domain for that, because my uncle won't be able to open this internal address. But we're not getting into that today. If you feel unsafe exposing Immich to the big bad interweb, you could use this project, Immich Public Proxy, to only expose the shared albums to the outside world. This will install into a separate container that will only pass shared albums to the public, leaving the rest of your Immich instance as private as can be. The big reason for me to go and try Immich in the first place is the app. This really makes it a decent Google Photos replacement, so let's have a look at that as well. Sure, Immich may access my photos and videos. Well, there's my image library. Let's upload some pics of my girlfriends from my phone as well. If you select the cloud icon, you can select which albums from your phone you'd like to backup to Immich. Let's do this one. Now if I enable backup, it will automatically upload anything from that album to Immich. And not just what's in here now, but anything you'll add to that album later as well. So it makes sense to do this with the folder your camera is saving stuff to. Ah yes, I really love my lemonade. From the app you can create links as well, or add folders to an album, just like you can from a browser. One of my girlfriends kinda looks like Nemo. Back in the browser, let's have a look at the deduplication. Click on Utilities and Review Duplicates. It sees two versions of a thumbnail as a duplicate. Not too surprising, as there's only some brightness changes though. Let's click Keep All. On this one I changed the background, so not really a duplicate either. The right one is brighter here as well, so I'd like to keep that one as well. There's one of the uploads from my phone. This one is a lot smaller than the original, so sure, trash that one. The same goes for this one. That's all? I guess it did miss a few. You can also review large files. That's relative though, as none of the files in this library are large, but it can help to find some actual large ones that might need re-encoding. Look at that! There's a new version! I wasn't planning on including this, but let's try to update the setup. Inside of our image directory, let's run docker compose pull to download the latest versions of the containers. I guess it's best to give your Docker machine a tad more disk space than I did. I've already raised it to 12 gigs before, but let's change the disk size to a more decent 20 gigs. There we are. Let's try again. That's better. Now run docker compose up-d again to update our containers. Look at that, it has recreated both image containers and left the Redis and Postgres alone. And everything is still here. You can clear the old versions with docker image prune to save some disk space for a next upgrade or so. In case you're wondering what will happen to your images if Immich stops being supported, they're all just files on a file system. No vendor lock-in on this one. Alright, time to wrap things up. I really like this system, which is exactly what I was looking for, to be able to create photo albums that I can share with my family, without having to buy more storage on a Google Drive. I mean, I already keep the originals on my home server anyway. It's pretty lean as well, as Immich can do with way less resources than I provided here. Well, except for disk space, maybe. But when I gave my container just 1 core and 2 GB of RAM, things got pretty slow around importing images and videos. As soon as all tasks like face recognition and deduplication are finished though, used resources go back to some very decent numbers. You might have noticed the Buy Immich link right here. Buying Immich isn't mandatory. You'll get all the features and functions without getting a license. It's greatly appreciated if you do though, to support the project. I guess that's all I have for you today. I hope you liked this video. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time.